Alright, well, hopefully you've seen part one, and welcome back. Here we are again, and a continuation of the video we just left off with. Um, at the outset of that video, I was showing you, excuse me, these link-up boxes that link up the combined pentatonics with that single pentatonic, and use the orange box to get from one to the other. So just to show you here, back here you can get to this part of the fretboard. You don't have to. There's a lot of other ways, but this is a quick way to kind of sound smooth across the fretboard. One little mistake here, I filled in the 22nd fret here. Notes you would probably not play very much, but I did the wrong color here. That would technically be in blue. Let's make things a little more clear, which now looks purple. Let's get the idea. What I also wanted to finish up on was the remaining missing notes to make this a complete major scale across the fretboard using the pentatonic shapes. And from here, I'll show you crafty ways to go this way with your playing, and this way with your playing, and that way with your playing, and up and down, and things like that. But for now, let's finish up some missing areas here. And any area that's missing a note is obvious like this, because there's a neat trick that reveals itself right here. Notice, for example, all these notes. They can stack on top of each other, but on each side of any white note, there will always, and I mean always, be a major scale note. That's a little jazz trick there, meaning that you can relax when you do hit a bad note and simply slide it one forward, and you'll sound somewhat like you knew what you were doing. And you can embellish from there and get things done. So, anywhere that you see that there is a white note next to another white note in a horizontal fashion, there's a missing note there. So we need to fill in some blanks here. Well, I'm going to fill these things in one way, but you're going to learn soon there's other repeating patterns that kind of will supersede this knowledge, but let me show you this so far. Really, we only have a couple of small areas here. We have here and here and here, and a repeat here and here, same as there and there. To fill in, let's get those filled in. Here, let's start out like this also. We're going to give this shape, this pentatonic is going to receive a name. And this name you may be familiar with. We're going to call this the Aeolian pentatonic. But I want you to keep something in mind here. This has very little to do with what you will learn in the future, is making music that sounds Aeolian. This description we're talking about right now has to do with a handy way to create a fretboard roadmap and know which constellation you're in. You can almost consider it like a sky map, a map of the stars. So here we have Aeolian right here, this pentatonic in red. We're going to call that one Aeolian. And that helps us get up and down the scale quickly and know exactly what guts are in this pentatonic, because that, my friends, is what separates this pentatonic from this pentatonic and this pentatonic shape, is the guts inside. Or you can consider this like almost like a lock and key setup, where a certain combination is going to be right and any other combination would be wrong, or it won't sound good until you, of course, like I said, slide up into a good note. And good note, bad note, that always depends on your particular music you're playing. So for this pentatonic shape right here, we have this open box here. Notice in this pentatonic we don't have an open box in either of these because by the overlap took care of the business. In the blue pentatonics box, we have this series of notes. You play the key on this one and this one. Of the 4 empty squares, it's that one and that one. Considering the green pentatonic, we can clearly see here it's this set of notes right here. So that's taken up there, that's taken up here. What combination could be here leaves this one and this one, or that one and that one? And my friends, it is combination number 1. If you guess combination number 1, you know what you're doing on your guitar. And from there, we fill that out. Now this note right here, this helps us take care of this double pattern right here, because this string, as we know, is E. E, always the same, top and bottom, we know that. We're going to steal that one up right there. Perfect. Now, there is a couple ways we can look at hanging some other notes off of this area. But I want you to consider this. Well, you don't have to do this, but this is what I have started with to get. The middle pattern here is different for each of these pentatonics. Each one, red, green, and blue, have their own signature. I'm going to draw them here for you. Well, I'm not going to draw them there because you can't see it. I'm going to move this up so you can see that I wrote Aeolian down there. My first crack at videos here and getting used to this camera and all this stuff. So, where can I go? How about right up here? Let's draw. We'll call this the middle 3. Makes it a little tic-tac-toe board, so to speak, of the pentatonic. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here it is. This piece here. You might ask, well, Mark, and then what's this one called? Well, this is actually just a piece of this. If this guitar had another string on top, that would be it. So it's really just a repeat of that. So you have this square and this square are all you are really responsible for playing a pentatonic. And when you want to turn a pentatonic into a major scale or a piece of a major scale, you need to know how to hang some ears off the sides. The blue pentatonic will have a different set. Green will have a different key, just like they had a different key here and a different key there. Without any further hoopla, here is the Aeolian key. Look at that. I found that pretty easy to remember. And if that's the case, we have this note plugged in. Which note are we missing here? 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And that, my friend, takes care of the empty note we had there. I want you to take note of something today. This square. Here's something to keep in mind. You know that you may already know your octaves. So in fact, this A pentatonic that we started here is also A right here. Because things repeat like that on a guitar. The 2 frets over, 2 fret down thing. Well, if that's true, then this box should therefore repeat here. And it should repeat there, but we all know, because we've been playing pentatonics for a while, that there's a shift. When you learn to tune a guitar, you know that these 2 strings are shifted over 1. So shifted over 1 is there a square, and what do you know, look at that. Even though these are going to be different colors, these are the exact same 4 notes. This concept is going to come up in a future lesson to further your fretboard understanding. What we're going to show right now is this. We're going to take the blue pentatonic, create the middle 3, 2, rows of 3 squares, basically. And how do we hang the side notes on this? Here is your key, my friends. This is Dorian. Oh, we didn't do that either. Blue. Here's its name. Oh, man, you've heard of this. Oh, yeah, Dorian. And that's its handy name there. It is true that if you played the C major scale and started on a D note and ended at a D note, you're, in a way, playing a Dorian scale, but that's a Dorian scale. And to make music, you're making maybe a Dorian sounding piece, and you won't really necessarily know, you won't be limited to this box, so kind of never mind what I'm saying right now. But this is this is our fretboard information. This is not musical information, to repeat. And green, what would we call this? Any good guesses? Here's an interesting thing about all these 3 pentatonics. In a major scale, or from the major scale, you can derive these 3 minor sounds. Hey, what do you know? You've always been playing that as minor pentatonic, and the real deal is, it was really minor, and that's why some songs have a different set of notes inside, because some are based on Aeolian, some are based on Dorian, and maybe a small few are even based on Phrygian. These are all minor patterns starting from this note is what that means. That's how they would be considered all minor. But this is for a future lesson, so don't worry about that right now. If that starts to get confusing, you will have no problems understanding that. I guarantee it. And let's draw the Phrygian key right now. Phrygian or Phrygian, whatever way you say it. How does that one work? Let's kind of reverse Dorian and hang 2 off the side this way. Now, if this was the case, how does that look on this fretboard? Well, Dorian, here it is. You would hang 2 blue notes off this side. One of them's taken up by that 3-note slide in I told you about, or walk in. And Phrygian. Hey, what do you know? Can we take care of this area right here? Shall we? And anytime that you have a block square of notes, that, my friends, is the same series of notes. It's a very special block that you're going to learn. Makes a nice marker for you as a player. So, geez, now more confusion up here. No, this shouldn't be confusing to you, but you should just know to, oh, wait, we already know red. There's nothing else to learn. This is going to be simply this and this. And what are we missing here? This guy and this guy. We got a disparity there, but we know that that's blue. And what's on the side of blue? 2 right there. Look at that. Same thing as before. And there we have every single note of the major scale, and if you are looking closely, you found a spot we've missed, but we know we have green. How do you hang the ears off of green? Right there. Getting through and just a pentatonic understanding, this picture right here in my mind is what got me to go up and down all these scales fluidly and start sounding like I was a more versatile guitarist. Someone with a little more knowledge. What do you know? There's our pattern of squares, and in case it looks like we missed one, well, what about right in here? Because of the string shift, this is a funny square. Kind of no escaping some kind of craziness with this major scale. And this is even part of a scale. Or the square, sorry. Here's the square, the square, the square, the square. The square. And in the next lesson, we will discover all the usefulness of knowing the square. And look at how it repeats. At an angle this way, and this way, and this way, so on and so forth. Look away, my friends, nothing new here. Only the same repeating boxes. You can think I'm bringing in all these new boxes, but check it out. There's really only 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Well, wait a minute, what about this one, man? Nope, that's over here. What about these two? Nope, those are the same as over here. It's only 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Same exact thing that you played before. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna switch over to my guitar now, and I'm gonna let you hear some of these things as they sound on guitar, because I always thought, whenever I got some kind of description like this, hey man, let me hear what you're talking about. So here we go. We're gonna hope that this works, because it wasn't tested and these videos are just live. And I think we have something going on here. Alright. I'll play up. Just to show you, I'll start at my pentatonic and work the red pentatonic and work downwards. That would sound well over a A minor chord. We have some distortion going on there. Well, let's hit some bad notes. And let's go, now that your ear is set for Aeolian, let's switch up. Let's ride that, we'll go down this angle here and head on into a Dorian scale all over that chord and sound. That was all right here. And that's one thing you'll find is that the same licks that work in Aeolian don't necessarily sound that great over the other pentatonic scales that are included. That's why they might sound a little funny at first, because you're probably going to try the same old licks over them and they won't resolve correctly. So you have to learn to resolve to strange new notes that you don't normally resolve to in the other scales that you play. That's a typical ending, and I'm using that A minor scale. This is what your ear got accustomed to. Now if I try that with the Dorian shape, there it resolves because I just hit an A note. So that is the sound of basically the C major scale. Because every note I just played in Aeolian that was this red scale played against the C chord. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, probably confusing those who don't know music theory. So we're going to try to get into that a little later, but this will get you across the fretboard, showing you that just working up the E string here, if you follow the pattern, You can get up any string. From there you can go back down the fretboard. I basically went up the E string here, and I'm going back down the red there. If I want, I can back off a bit from the red. I just totally screwed that up. Anyways, my intention was to go down here. I went down this scale and ended up on a C arpeggio, which was based on just a basic fingering that you use down here for a C chord. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope this helps, and we'll see you soon. Bye.